What's up, everybody? It's a Red Baron 59, and today I have what I think is a pretty interesting topic. I think there's a lot of misconception based around, your favorite YouTuber and how people perceive their performance in game. And this guy gets destroyed. I feel so sorry about that, but what can you do? Blame it on the spawns, not me. But anyway, so these three gameplays are all in the same day, and sometimes it's like that. I got two of them that were just over 3-minute wins, and then I had a flawless all in the same day. Typically it doesn't go down like that. Like last night, we tried to play some games, and every lobby we got into was just super sweaty, super tough. I mean, we did okay, but sometimes you get the days where you get a couple of good lobbies and you get maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 games over 70 kills, and then other days you get on and you're lucky to get a 40 bomb or a 50 bomb because you just got tough competition. 4-man parties, 5-man parties. You never know exactly what it's going to be like when you play the game. And I think there's this misconception a lot of times around the fact that people think that you're supposed to always do well. Like that their favorite YouTuber never has a bad game, that every single time they play the game, they're just beasting everybody they play. And that they just never lose. And I think it's really funny that, when they see somebody do bad, they like crucify them. And it just doesn't really work that way. I think that the best way to describe it is, yes, that most of the time you do well. If you have, I believe in Advanced Warfare, above a 1.5 KD, that puts you at this point in the game's lifespan, like in the top 8% of players, which is pretty good. I mean, that's not bad. Top 8% means that you're doing good almost every single game that you play. You may occasionally get a really, really nice gameplay, but you're always doing pretty good. Now, I have a 1.73 now, and that puts me in this game in the top 4% overall. And a lot of that has to do with me playing a lot of rank play and things. I would really have over a 2 KD if it weren't for that. I've got another account that I don't ever play ranked play on, and I think that account I have a 2.47 right now, and it's just that typically I do well every single game. I've got a couple of DNA bombs, a good amount. I've got a lot of vicious medals overall. I mean, I'm over 20 vicious medals at this point, and I think right now I'm at 23 vicious medals all time. I've had twice that I've got a double DNA fail, and that was just because I ran out of time. Both times I probably would have actually got the DNA, because both times I was above a 25 kill streak on my second roll. And I mean, overall I've done really well in this game, and that's considering that most lobbies I play, I typically play people with above a 1.3 KD. It's not like most games I play people that are good enough to kill you. They're not necessarily good enough to puff stop me, but and usually the games I do bad, we don't even necessarily lose. My standards for doing poorly are like I don't know, like 46 and 33. We had a game like that last night where me and Janie both had like a 10 kill to death spread on the lobby, and it was just a really tough match. And sometimes it's like that, and people expect that just every single game you're always going to be stomping people. And I think they think that about guys like Marco J, and even Marco J talks about it here and there passively. He doesn't really do commentary style gameplays anymore, but he acknowledges that not every single game are you going to beast people. It just doesn't work that way. Now, most of the time, yeah, you're going to do pretty well. But obviously, like, people don't think about this. You post your highlight gameplays. It's like how, I guess people never think about the fact that they have highlight gameplays. They may not be as good as mine or the Mark of J's, or maybe they're better, maybe they're worse, but that the truth of the matter is that when you're posting a gameplay, obviously for other people, you want to generally post your best gameplays. Now, sometimes you may want to post one where you did a little better or a little worse, but that's just typically you're going to post the highlight gameplays. Now, sometimes you might want to post one where you did particularly bad just to highlight something in the game, or prove a point on one particular thing or another, that maybe one gun is way too strong, something like that. And what I guess this all kind of leads to is, I mean, I have a pretty decent win-loss. I think my win-loss is up to a 2.24 now, which is above average win-loss as well. And, you know, a lot of people think that you would win every single game, and it just doesn't work that way, especially not in this particular COD, because you're going to run across a lot of full parties. And I don't really like playing in full parties because that's another thing. Like, people think about YouTube gameplays as being, you know, you don't really get 70 kill gameplays playing in a 6-man. It's just not going to happen unless you're in a 6-man with a whole lot of really bad players that you kind of cherry-picked to give you the best chance of getting a good gameplay while winning the game. You know, guys that like are going to rush the objective over and over, and I just don't really like playing like that. It's not my way. You know, and so if you play in even really above a 4-man party, you're just a 4-man party. You're just gonna have to compete for kills too much. And honestly, like me and Janie, the two of us are pretty much about just as good as each other, and we have a lot of issues with that ourselves, where we're just like constantly competing for kills. And you know, and you have to kind of stay away from each other so you don't constantly give each other a bunch of assists. And you know, it just doesn't work the way that people think it does. That, you know, so when you're playing solo or with just 2 people, you are gonna lose some games. You are going to have some less than stellar performances. I mean, when I play solo, I typically am going to get my highest kill gameplays playing solo, but at the same time, I'm gonna have the most frustration playing solo that I do at any other point, you know. And you know, I just think it's really funny that there's this constant misconception about, you know, what types of gameplays people get that post YouTube videos and how well they do all the time, because you get a lot of people that send you like shit talking messages because you didn't do as well one particular game, you know, and you may even win and they'll still send you something. Like last night, we had one where it was 2 versus 6. I don't know what it was, but it kept, sometimes it's like that. Like, it kept putting us in lobbies where the other team had at least one more person than us all night. And it was 6 on 2 at one point, and you know, I was talking to Janie, and we were trying it for a little bit. It wasn't putting anybody in our on our team, and it brought them up to a 6-man party. And I think there was a 4-man and a 2-man on the other team. So these guys were organized and trying together, and it just wasn't worth our time, and we backed out. And it was really funny because the individual sent me a message telling us how he had stomped our ass and put it on YouTube. But what was really funny is that we actually had a better KD than any single person on their team. The both of us did. We were actually kicking their ass. We just couldn't really play OBJ and do everything. You can't beat a 2-man and a 4-man party of decent players. It's just not going to happen. You know, if it's, I mean, maybe Scumper Jumper might be able to do something like that, but I really even doubt that Scumper could, you know, do something like that. He might be able to put up a lot of kills, or he might be able to win based on OBJ, but you can't do both. You know, it's just, you can't be expected to do everything when the numbers are so heavily favored to the other team. You're just gonna get killed. You know, it's. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. And I think when I backed out, I was 19-10, and Janie was he was doing about the same as I was, you know. And I mean, we were actually getting up in these guys, and we probably could have stayed and posted a nice gameplay with a lot of kills against a, you know, 6-man group versus 2. But it just isn't worth our time, like, you know. And people always send you so many shit talking messages when things like that happen, and it's just, that's the thing that I think is the most frustrating about skill-based matchmaking in this game, is it allows people, for one, to believe they're a lot better than they are. You know, if we had 4 people on our team, 4 little randoms, it would have gone the complete opposite way. And, you know, we would have pub stomped the crap out of these guys. They would have backed out. You know, most of those guys that sit there and talk trash, as soon as they get put into a lobby where they're pressed too hard, they just leave, man. They don't even want to deal with it. And, I rarely ever leave. It's only times like that where we join a game and the other team is winning by an insane amount and they got kill streaks in the air, or that type of shit where everybody on our team leaves and we're just getting our ass stomped all game, you know. And there's just nothing you can do, and it's not worth your time or the stress, because it is a game and it's about having fun. And I'm not that much of a try-hard that I'm going to stay when I'm by myself or only have one teammate against 6 people or 9 people. Like, ground war, that stuff happens all the time. You know, and it's just not even worth sticking around for when it happens. I mean, You know, and that's, I mean, it's just, that's the way it is. And in this game, I think that's the biggest negative to skill-based matchmaking, is it creates this perception for people when they always play shitty players all the time because they have a shitty KD and they're just a little better than the shitty players they play all the time. They get this idea in their head that they're a lot better than they really are because they never really play anybody that good. And I've got a top KD, man, and I play a lot of people that I know are really good players. I come across consistently guys with like a well above a 2 KD, sometimes above a 3, and I know their names. I play them a lot, and I compete with them all the time. A lot of times I beat them. I'm just as good as those guys. Like I said, I play a lot of ranked, and that's the only thing that drags my KD down. And so I just think it's really funny, the tendency of people to shit talk. You know, and I ended up telling that guy that he was I think I told him that he must have been joking that 2-on-6 was an ass whooping. I was like, you don't know what an ass whooping is, dude. We had a better KD than your entire team. And he didn't say anything else after that. I told him he was a joke, and it was really funny that he thought he kicked our ass, and then it didn't really work that way. And yeah, just, you know, I just think it's funny the perception that people have about how good they are because they've never played anybody that good. I can't tell you how many people have told me they're going to go pro in Black Ops 3 that have like a 1.3 KD, and because of this game and the people they play all the time, they think they're a lot better than they really are. They play other, I guess above average players is the best that you can describe them. They're just, you know, casual players that play enough that they're okay. And I just think it's really funny how people over-evaluate how good they are all the time. And, you know, I mean, it's good to have confidence, but it's also good to know, you know, some level of humility and, you know, in all things in life, even if it's just a video game, to recognize where your limitations lie and always, of course, work to move past that. But it's just, it doesn't really speak well to your sportsmanship as a player, you know, and your mentality when you talk like that to other individuals. And that's all I really have to say about this. Keep in mind that your favorite YouTuber doesn't always have a good game every game. Nobody does, you know, and we may be good players, but everybody struggles. Everybody has a bad time. It's like the NBA, man, or any other thing. Nobody does good all the time. It's like how UK made it to, what, 39-0 and lost in the Elite Eight. You know, it happens. It doesn't matter. There's always somebody better, always somebody at least as good as you. You can lose on your good days to, you can lose on your bad days to somebody who's technically inferior to you. It happens. And that's all I have to say, guys. Slap that like button if you liked the video. Subscribe if you've never been here before, and I'll see you. Your boy with 30-0, baby.